I'm just starting out with a new file in Illustrator, and I'm going to change the height and width to a 10 by 10 square and change the color mode to RGB at 300 dpi. From there, I'm going to go to File, Place, and choose my photo and just click in the artboard to place it. And I'm going to enlarge the photo so that I can, really see my face better. From there, I'm just going to lock this layer so that I'm not moving the photo around and choose a new layer on top of it. And I'm going to open my color palette that I just use consistently and choose some colors from there. I'm going to choose the pen tool and make sure that I don't have a fill, but that just my stroke is selected. And I'm just going to go around the face so that way I can still see the photo but get the correct shapes around the face. And I can do this kind of loosely because I can always come back with my selection tool and make adjustments. I don't get an exact drawing here, and I don't copy the photo exactly. I like to kind of have a stylized element to my characters, and so I'm just going around kind of loosely and not quite so wide on the arms. From there, I'm also just creating the neck, and I'm going to go around the shirt. I made these blocks of skin like a big shape because in Illustrator it's really easy to just layer your elements on top of each other, and so this shirt will just really sit on top of this skin layer. So I'm going around it and just making sure my shirt is kind of coming outside of the edges of the skin, and that way it's going to be sitting on top. We won't have any skin showing where it's not supposed to show. From there, I'm just going to zoom in on the face and choose my brown color and go around the eyebrows. And again, I'm just really focused on getting the shape here. I'm keeping everything outlined as a stroke, and I will come back and fill these in a little bit later, but here I'm just kind of testing the color, and I think I might need a little bit of a darker color, so I'm coming to my bigger bank of Pantone colors and just choosing a darker color from this bank. From there, I'm choosing my white color, and I'm just going to fill in the whites of the eyeball. Don't worry if you have a little point like you're seeing here. We can get rid of that later. It will kind of disappear when we fill in. From there, I'm just creating a perfect circle right where the pupils are, and another perfect circle that I'm just putting on top of the pupil. The outer ring, I can change the color so that it's actually showing up as the color of the eye. And I'm going to copy and paste in place. And then I'm going to use a clipping mask to clip these circles in. From there, I'm just using the black pen tool again with my eyelashes, and I'm just coming around and kind of making these up as I go along. I'm definitely still leaning on the photograph for the shape, but I'm exaggerating the lash extension quite a bit here. I'm going to do this on top and bottom. So you can see that when I, toggle off the stroke, how the fill shapes up. The stroke looks a lot thicker when you're drawing it, so you just have to keep that in mind that when you toggle it off and create the fill, it's going to be a lot thinner. So from here, I'm just going to do the next set of eyelashes, and again, I'm just kind of imagining where these eyelashes are and kind of exaggerating that shape. Sometimes it takes a few tries and you have to do an extra point, and you sometimes have to play with the selection tool to kind of move things around a bit, but I'm pretty happy with where that's going. I can redraw this eyebrow a bit to get it a little bit more curved. I think it was looking a little too sharp. And from there, I'm just drawing the nostrils, and I just do these in black kind of to match the eyes. Of course, if you want to do a more natural color, you could even use your eyedropper tool and eyedrop on the photo to get the exact color. But I just try to work in a more stylized way, so I'm just kind of creating these shapes around the nose. You can also do a more stylized nose, but this is just how I like to do it. It's going to look a little funny right now, but you will see how it looks when it all comes together and we kind of fill in the shape of the skin, and we can kind of see how the cartoon is looking. One thing to keep in mind is that the bottom lip is typically lighter than the upper lip, so I just use a slightly different color here, and then I use, again, black for the shadows. This is just kind of giving me, again, a very graphic and stylized look. I'm not using supernatural colors. And then for the teeth, I just like to fill in. I'm not going to draw every single tooth. I just like to fill in this area with white, and you'll see how it looks once I fill all these in and switch from stroke to fill. Okay, so now we can kind of see how that's looking. I can toggle it off and on, but the skin I kind of have to keep toggled to stroke, otherwise I can't see my photograph. So from there, I'm just outlining the brim of the hat in a yellow color, and at the top of the hat as well. I don't have to be real careful with my lines here because, again, you can just layer something in front or behind your other object. And so if I already have one object drawn pretty correctly, then I'm not going to really waste time trying to draw the other element perfectly, because I can just set it behind, especially if that part of the object is being covered up, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So from here, I'm just outlining really the whole shape of the hair. So I'm thinking about the hair as one large shape. I'm going to send it to the back with my arrange tool, and that way it's sitting behind the skin. From here, I'm just filling in a few more shadows in the ears, and I'm again switching on my fill for the hat. So you can see how the top part of the hat easily sits behind the brim, and I didn't need to draw that perfectly. So with the hair, we have this solid shape and it is sitting behind the face, but we want the lower part of the hair to come in front of the skin. So we'll deal with that in just a second. I'm grouping the face here so that I can just click on the face one time and it is kind of a solid motif at this point. I really just like to play with the arrange tool and send things forward and backward. And from there, if I need to stretch some objects, I can, again, just use my selection tool and do that. You can also play with the opacity, like you can see here where I've lowered the opacity of the hair that's coming in front, so I can still see my drawing underneath. And I'm liking this pink color, so I'm just gonna try to make the whole background pink in my 10 by 10 inch square. And we can kind of play with that a bit too. We can come to different shades of this pink and play with the tints. Okay, so I'm playing with this neck, trying to send it forward and backward, and I need to put a shadow on the neck underneath her chin, or otherwise somehow make it sit behind the face. And so I just changed the neck to teal for now, and then I can make the shadow, send the shadow backwards, and then just use the eyedropper tool to make the neck the same color as the face again. You can see I'm just using my selection tool to kind of change up that shape as well. And we're looking pretty good here. You can keep zooming out and zooming back in to work, and then zoom out to see how your drawing is looking so far. I also kind of like, just as a stylized method, to make the eyes and eyebrows a little bit bigger than they are in real life. So you can kind of group the selection together, make it a little bit bigger, and then zoom out and see if you like the way it's looking. A lot of times cartoons have bigger eyes than what would be seen in realism. You can see this in Barbie dolls as well, any kind of doll really, but yeah, definitely in cartoons as well. And so you can definitely play with this and, you know, kind of play with the style you want to have when drawing your character, and, you know, just play with different elements, whether you want the eyes to be like a solid green, whether you want to have the pupils in there, how big you want the pupil to be. And that's the beautiful thing about Illustrator, is that you're working in vector, so you can literally play with these options endlessly and you're not going to lose any resolution. I'm adding a highlight to the eye here. That's typically what I do, and I just kind of like the way that looks. I make it a little bit lighter than the eye color, so since she has green eyes, that's what I'm doing. And again, with these elements in Illustrator, it's so easy to just copy and paste from one eye to the next and use the same element on the next eye. You can also go to Object Hide, and so if you want to kind of just get rid of one element for just a second and kind of see what else you're dealing with, you can hide the object, and then I just go back to Object Show All when I'm ready to bring it back. So from here, I'm just drawing strands of the hair. So that's why I decided to hide the other elements of the face, because I just want to really be able to see my photograph and see these strands of hair. The original shape of the hair is lowered opacity, so it's actually looking quite transparent, which allows me to still see the photograph and be able to draw on top with all these different strands of hair. Again, I'm just using the pen tool at, I believe, a 1-point stroke, but you can adjust the point of the stroke as well if it's looking too large or too small. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter because you're going to toggle the stroke off and have a fill. The photograph underneath is really just more inspiration, so, if you can follow it exactly, or you can, draw other areas or kind of draw the hair going in different directions. I'm adding a few bits of skin here to be showing like kind of where the hair separates, and I'm just adding that on top of the hair so that when it's all showing together, it won't be noticeable, but this isn't actually cropped out of the hair, it's just sitting on top. So there we can kind of see how it's looking when I bring those objects back. So with my magic wand tool, I can set the tolerance to 1, and I can click on any area of my drawing and it'll select everything that is that exact same color, which allows me to easily change the color. That's really helpful when you have all these different strands of hair. Sometimes in the hair you just have to have subtle changes of color from each other, but when your tolerance is set to 1 in the magic wand tool, you know that you're only going to be getting that group of selections, not other colors that are kind of similar to it. So at this point in the drawing, I don't really need to look at the photograph to see where the hair is. I can kind of just imagine it and see how it's curving and kind of going around these highlights. Once you get the hang of drawing hair with the pen tool, it's really not that bad. It's really just a lot of curves with curled hair like this. From there, I can select the magic wand tool and click on the stroke color, set it to 1, and then I can toggle all those strands of hair at the same time back to fill, and we can see how that's looking. And that's how you cartoon yourself in Illustrator. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.